What's going on, guys? Mr. Brickswag back here with another video. Today we have one of my most anticipated sets for this year. There were some very weird rumors surrounding this set. Nobody really knew what it was going to be. We didn't really find out until very recently, but as soon as we heard the news, I knew I had to get this set. And here we have the UCS ATST Ultimate Collector Series. You know, this is really my jam. As you guys know, I love UCS sets. If I could, I'd love to have my hands on every UCS set possible, but fortunately, many of them are very, very expensive. Speaking of expensive, this set is actually pretty expensive itself. $200, which is what UCS sets used to cost, like the lower end UCS sets. But this one is significantly smaller than a lot of the old ones. I mean, this only has 1,513 pieces, which, again, that's pretty small, given the $200 price point. I mean, even the Slave 1 from 2015 was, I think, close to 2,000 pieces. So it's definitely interesting, and it kind of shows an upward trend of Lego inflation and stuff like that, price increases. But all in all, I think it's a pretty fair deal and definitely one of the better sets for the summer wave. So yeah, anyway, I'm just really excited about this. I love the ATST. It's one of my favorite vehicles. You guys already saw how much I love the AT-AT, and this is kind of just a smaller Imperial vehicle, you know, very similar to the AT-AT, but not quite exactly. And with all that being said, I think there's just a lot that I'm going to like about this set and everything. Again, huge Imperial vehicle fan, huge UCS fan. I mean, this is pretty much going to be a lock-in as probably one of my favorite sets of the year. Again, there were some rumors that it wasn't going to be UCS, which is why I was kind of hesitant to, you know, say I was going to buy it or not. But when I found out, I was like, all right. Day one comp. So anyway, that was a very long monologue, but really excited for this set. Hope you guys are really excited too. Let's go ahead and unbox it and see what's inside. Alrighty, guys, just unboxed the UCS ATST. Very standard UCS kind of box art in the sense that it just has a black background with a little bit of color on it in the set, just to show that it's a display item and everything. I like the green though. It kind of makes the set really pop, and it's supposed to represent the green of Endor, so that's really cool. In the box, you will find a total of 14 numbered bags, which is actually, again, that's fairly low for a UCS set. Usually you're used to seeing, you know, 20 plus, but, you know, maybe, you know, I'll give it a shot, you know, keep an open mind. Maybe it'll be more complex than I think. But here you have a kind of brown paper envelope. They've been making those a lot recently. You got this plaque right here, which looks really, really clean, very nice. It was kind of loose in the bag, which is a little concerning. They should really put that in with something to protect it, but they don't. And they do have this sticker sheet, which does come in that little brown envelope. Not a fan of stickers in the set. I think these three, if I'm not mistaken, go in the inside, so it's not a big deal. But these two, I believe, are external stickers, which is a real shame because for a UCS set, you would really expect it to not have any, you know, stickers, but whatever. You have this really big instruction manual here, just a single one. It gives you, you know, the kind of history of the ATST and everything, how it's used on Endor and presumably on Hoth as well. So yeah, just very, very cool. Shows you a couple really nice shots and everything, and this one comes with a full interior. So yeah, very excited for this, guys. I always love a UCS building experience, and I'm sure this one will be just as fun. So I'll tune in with you guys after I finish the build. Alrighty, guys, just finished the build of the ATST. Looks absolutely amazing, as most UCS sets do. The size of this thing is pretty good. It looks kind of small on camera, I think, but in person, it's actually really big. Easily the biggest ATST I've ever built. The build took me a little over 4.5 hours, so close to 5 hours. Very fun build experience overall. Definitely had a great time with it. The sticker application was honestly very minimal. Not a big deal. I still would have liked to have printed pieces and everything, but aside from that, it was pretty much great. I would give the build process a 9 out of 10 overall. Some small things here and there that were kind of annoying when you were putting things together that would fall off, but aside from that, I mean, everything was pretty much perfect. Again, very, very fun. I love the techniques that they use on this one. As most modern UCS sets are, this one uses some very advanced techniques to put everything together, and it seems very, very sturdy and awesome. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the minifigure lineup, or the minifigure review in this case. There's only one. So the singular minifigure in this set is the ATST driver, of course. I wish they gave us 2, but oh well, 1 will do, because, you know, 2 fit in the cockpit. Maybe like 1 in a commander or something like that would have been cool, but anyway, I'm not going to complain about having 1 minifigure. It is a very, very nice minifigure. Has a continuous print from the torso to the legs. No dual molded legs. I've seen a lot of complaints about that. I personally don't really mind that much, but I do wish that we had him. I mean, I'd rather have him than not, but oh well, whatever. Can't expect much from LEGO these days. Helmet looks good, face looks good. There's only a single-sided print, unfortunately, but whatever, it looks fine. And the arms have arm printing, which is really, really notable. It looks very nice and definitely elevates the figure a lot. So yeah, this is a really, really cool figure. Even comes with a blaster rifle, so that's pretty sick. And then obviously you can display him on this little stand right here. So this is all the information about the ATST. It's one of those printed pieces, so it's real nice. This is definitely my favorite style of the plaque. So yeah, super cool there. Has all the information, you know, the manufacturer, type, the speed, and all this stuff, and as well as the weapons, which are really, really cool. Didn't know this thing was so heavily armed, but yeah, it's really, really sick. Now, the way I'm going to do this review is just start from the bottom and kind of work my way up aesthetically and, you know, I guess play feature-wise and everything, although there's not many of those. So first we have the legs here, which are really, really cool, or I should say the feet on the legs, first of all. So these are really cool. So obviously, a lot of the kind of playset ATSTs have to do stickers in order to replicate the details here, but this one does it with actual greebling, which is really, really cool. You have these toe pieces, which actually do move kind of up and down. The way they did this is pretty cool, pretty neat. Looks really awesome there. You have some flexibility with that, so it looks really nice. Then, you know, this part is all shiny and stuff. I will say this is probably not as sturdy as I would like, but oh well, whatever. And then you go up and look at the kind of upper portion of the leg right here. Looks really cool. So you'll notice that all throughout the build, you have kind of these kind of tan pieces in order to represent rusting and kind of battle damage and all that stuff. So you'll see a lot of that, and it's sort of an asymmetrical build in that sense. Like color-wise, of course, the actual pieces are pretty much the same, but yeah, you just kind of get that detail. I think it's very, very cool. The back of the legs look pretty decent. Maybe a small improvement would have been to tile it off, but it looks fine as is. I like the way they did this to kind of represent the support right there on sort of the ankles, I guess. Pretty cool. Got some neat greebling there, right there. And as you move further up right here, you have a ton of greebling here, a ton of just details to give it, a little more life, I guess. You do have one sticker piece here, which is pretty cool. I do wish it was printed, but it does look nice and wasn't too bad to apply or anything. You have this piece, which can move actually like up and down. I'm not sure if you're supposed to be able to move it, but it's pretty cool overall. And yeah, looks pretty sick. And again, it's mostly a symmetrical build with some color asymmetry, so it's pretty nice. Taking a look at the base right here, you have a wiring piece, which is pretty cool to add some detail. You have kind of these pieces, which are really, really cool. I mean, it's a very clever use of that piece. I actually have no idea what that is, but it's really, really nice. You have this kind of slope angle right here. Very, very nice. I mean, I just love the way that they did the details on top of these. It's really, really nice and tiled off, and I love that about it. You know, the sides and everything. It's pretty much perfect, like aesthetically, every little small detail. You look at the base from the kind of backside here. This looks absolutely awesome. You can kind of see like the texture of the blocks right there. It's really, really nice, really, really neat. You have a little thing right here, which all the ATSTs kind of do. Then you have this piece right here. I actually have no idea what the heck this is. It just looks kind of out of place. I thought there was going to be something on it, but never ended up having anything on it, which is kind of weird. But oh well. And then obviously the kind of one of the funniest details of this set is you have a giant tire piece that's used to kind of rotate the head. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty neat, definitely. But yeah, very surprised about that one for sure. Now, before I go on to review the head, I did want to take a second to review kind of the underside of the ATST. So as you guys can see right here, there are these little like rubber pieces that are used to prevent the ATST from moving. The same technique was used on the AT-AT, which is pretty cool, although those ones kind of were really big rubber blocks. These are a lot smaller, but very effective because this is a smaller vehicle, so you don't really need that same level of care. Again, just looks very, very nice overall for sure. And then you have the underside of the kind kind of base here, as well as the underside of the legs. I will say there are some exposed details right here. You can see the blue Technic, which I don't like. On a play set, I wouldn't mind, but on a UCS set that you're spending $200 on, this is a little bit bad, but not horrible overall. I mean, the Razor Crest has some stuff like that, so I'm not going to go ahead and complain too much, but it is a bit of an oversight. I really love this piece, probably one of my favorite pieces ever. It just looks so smooth and cool, and then you got that cool underside. I love the techniques that they use here, right? You can see that these are kind of negative studs, but these are actual studs, and this is tiled off, so it's a lot of contrast and very, very cool building techniques for sure. Now, taking a look at the head, which I guess is the more complex part of the build, although I do absolutely love the legs. And they are probably some of my more favorite parts to construct because of the structural integrity required to hold the head up. But the head is definitely the coolest feature in terms of playability and everything. So first you have these kind of front-mounted cannons. So this whole thing actually swings all the way up, which is really neat. A lot of really cool detailing there, just really, really nice. Spin all the way like that and like that. So just like the real ATST, very, very cool there. You have some armaments on the sides here too. So you have this little cannon right here, which I think probably fires like a giant like grenade or something like that. It looks absolutely massive and it looks beautiful. I mean, the way they constructed it is really, really nice. And again, you kind of just spin that around for posability. And you can spin this one around too. This is really, really sick. This looks like a more like, I guess, robust armament, probably lighter artillery, lighter caliber weapons, I guess, but way more of them, probably more rapid fire. So yeah, really, really sick there. On the front side right here, you also have these eyes that can kind of rotate and open up just like a real ATST would be able to do. So that's pretty sick. And if you put a driver in there, I assume that he can kind of peer out and everything. So that's really sick. And again, just love the construction techniques here. It's really nice and tiled off. Looks absolutely fantastic. Now taking a look at the backside, very, very cool. Again, you have some spots of brown. You have these pieces, which I believe were printed. So that's really, really nice of LEGO to do. You have some great pieces right here. So yeah, just very, very nice. Again, a mix of studs and tiled off stuff, which I absolutely love from an aesthetic perspective. And then we go ahead and take a look at the top, which is really, really cool. So you have two places you can open it up. So obviously you have this kind of small hatch. And again, you can probably, for this model, I guess you can't stick a pilot's head out of there. For the play scale ones, you would be able to, but this one's just way too big to do that. But I love the kind of detailing on the head right here. The way they did these slope pieces is absolutely fantastic with the grates and everything. Just absolutely beautiful. And again, everything just blends in really nice. The second way to take off the top, of course, is to open up the entire thing. So you can actually do that pretty well in this set. So it actually attaches with this kind of Technic mechanism here. So you can fold it all the way back in a kind of, I guess, like unnatural way. But this lets you have access to the full interior here, which is really, really cool. So you have these two seats. Some of the stickers were used here. I don't know why they did that, because I honestly think you could have brick built the entire thing, but oh well, whatever. LEGO's gonna do what LEGO does these days. And if you look at it from the front, you can see that there's two control panels right here, as well as a sticker control panel right here. You have these handles that the ATST driver can, hold on to. So that's really, really neat. Now, when it comes to displaying this thing, unfortunately, the posability is quite limited. The legs, of course, do not move, unfortunately. So it's not like the AT-AT where you have that Imperial screwdriver that you can use to adjust it. These are pretty much locked in place, and although they are pretty sturdy, I would say, holding up the massive weight of the head and everything, you can't adjust them, which is definitely a really big flaw. I wonder why LEGO did that. It's maybe just because any posability would cause the structural integrity to collapse. So I guess I understand that argument, but not the best, unfortunately. Not great. Again, you can rotate the weapons and you can, raise and lower this thing. So that's pretty cool, I guess. You can also adjust this and, put the hatch up, put the entire head up if you want. And I guess the other big thing really, which is pretty nice, is that you can rotate the head. So that's really, really neat. Obviously, works just like a normal ATST does. Unfortunately, this one, you do not have 360 degrees of rotation. You have, I would say, a little less than 180. Maybe it's like 150 degrees or something like that. I'm not a mathematician. I am an engineer, but not a mathematician. But anyway, yeah, pretty neat there. So you can go ahead and pose it. This is probably a good angle. I'm probably just going to leave it head on, but some people I'm sure would like to display it like this or like this. So yeah, just really neat there for sure. It is a very nice set to display, I think, and has a lot of display value. It is a UCS set after all, so it's nice that they gave us some option to kind of mess with that. Overall, guys, I do really enjoy the ATST. I like the build process. I like the way it looks. I like a lot of the features that it has. It's definitely a very cool model and comes with a very cool minifigure and everything. And of course, it is a UCS set, so I'm going to love it more than any other ATST that has been produced just because of my little internal bias. But in terms of overall rating, I would definitely give this an 8 out of 10. It is a great set, but not what I would call an elite set compared to some of the other UCS sets that I've reviewed. It's really nice. I mean, it is very nice, but it just lacks a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of, wow factor. It is a very good model. It does pretty much everything well, but just not quite perfect and lacks, again, a little bit of an X factor. The AT really impressed me, and this is, while nice and definitely an improvement over the old ATST, not quite perfect. So that's why I give it the rating that I do. Anyway, guys, hope you really enjoyed my review of the UCS ATST. It was a real pleasure getting this set and everything. Nice getting both of the kind of major UCS sets that came out this year, and getting to buy them on day one and kind of review them so early and everything. So it's definitely really nice. I definitely enjoy both of them for sure. Not sure how I feel about that UCS Death Star, but video for that will come eventually. I'll break down my thoughts and everything. But anyway, hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making it. So if you could, please leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below giving me any feedback, negative or positive. I read it all. And please subscribe to Mr. Brickswag and stay tuned for more LEGO Star Wars videos. Peace out, guys.